Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Karakuri Japan Study Tour 2026. Thank you for joining us and for taking the time to be with us. My name is Andrea Pasotti. I'm an ŌdeXa consultant and will be the chairman through today's session. During the next hour, we will explore why we should look at Japan when we're doing our best in pushing operational excellence and why experiences it firsthand can be truly transformative. By the way, we encourage you to submit your questions through the chat you can see on this platform, and we will address as many questions as possible during the question and answer we will have at the end. Okay, so let me introduce our three guests. It's my pleasure to introduce Virginio Peluzzi, founder and partner of ŌdeXa, who will explain the vision behind the Karakuri Japan Study Tour and the reason why ŌdeXa has been organizing this unique experience for many years. Then we will have Rosario Manizera, CEO of Maema, and who was awarded the Order of the Rising Sun Gold and Silver Rays by the Emperor of Japan, and who will explain us to understand what makes Japanese companies so distinctive beyond the methodologies themselves. And then Roberto Malaguti, who is a partner of ŌdeXa, who will guide us to discover what participants will experience during the session of 2026 edition and of the Karakuri Japan Study Tour. Okay, now I'm giving the floor to Virginio. Okay, Virginio, please take the audience.
Good morning to everyone. I am very happy to talk of Japan Study Tour, which will happen in November of this year. We wanted to provide to you some information, not specifically on tools, but on the target, the cultural target that we should have during this visit. Before going through some other discussion, I would like to show you a short video, which is 32 seconds of a video that I took while I was traveling from Toyota City to Nagoya some years ago, which is providing you some visual example of what I consider important for this tour. You see, I am behind the driver, which is a nice woman, and she is doing these movements. So please consider carefully why she is doing this. She is doing this because driving a train in this, of course, citizen area, it is extremely important to check if the traffic lights are green and if we are on time. These are the two elements that are extremely important for every travel on train. But why she is doing these movements? Because that is a way to be sure that you check the traffic lights and that you check the punctuality of the train. I live in a country, which is Italy, where trains are just an opinion. And so when you see this kind of behaviors, you are impressed, as I am still now when I see this movie. So the concept of this trip in Japan is not to do a benchmark of the railways. That would not be very good for my country, or to understand which kind of the best methodologies are implemented in Japan. No, we have to understand that to achieve excellence, because this is the real target of our activities, to achieve excellence in driving a train, in running a company, in doing other activities that are related with our job, we have to pay attention to our culture. So the trip in Japan, the Karakuri Kaizen Japan Study Tour, is aiming to this. We want to understand how to influence the culture of our colleagues, our customers, our friends also, and why not in the family, to become more and more excellent. It is a route. It is a target of our behaviors. So in Japan, we will have this opportunity. Of course, we will not have a vision. We will have some opportunities to see, for example, how the people are parking their cars in a city. Precisely, not outside, not on the wrong places, but precisely where is possible. Or why it is everything is so clean, not only in the plants but also outside. Everything is clean because cleanliness is a status of excellence. So please consider this as the target of our trip to Japan in November. Let me give you a few other words on Karakuri. Karakuri is a doll, D-O-L-L, that was created by some, I think, artisans in the 17th century to bring the cup of tea to the emperor. Okay, nothing strange, but considering the period, 17th century, and considering that you have to make a sort of automation made by wood, they were able to understand, probably without knowing very well the principle, the physical principles. They were able to create this doll, which is moving for 3-4 meters to reach the emperor without going very close to him. So that was the first example, as far as I know, the first example of an automation, low cost and without energy, because when you put the tea cup on the hands of the doll, she is moving the barycenter of some millimeters, and she is moving towards the emperor. This simple idea, which is Karakuri, is now a synonym of low-cost automation. And JAPM, the inventor of TPM, created this fair that will be held this year in Yokohama, south of Tokyo, to show some 200 of examples of Karakuri done by different plants around Japan and outside Japan. So we will stay one day, not of course 5 days, but one day we will stay to visit these examples made by workers, which is supporting the activities which are normally repetitive in the industries where they were created, to automatize without energy and without important cost. So that is the reason why we called Karakuri Kaizen Japan Study Tour. Normally people, when they visit this fair, stay inside the fair for all the available time, which is around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. because they can see, they can talk, they can ask, they can get some ideas. So this is the central visit that we will have during this JST. Before and after, we are going to visit other companies which are presenting different kind of improvement. We will see Toyota in the north, not in the south of Japan, in a motor company where they are manufacturing, of course, engines. And then we will see other companies which are manufacturing devices for electronics, and a few others that will be confirmed in the last announcement. So again, in this trip, which will not be easy, because we are not doing tourism, so we are moving continuously. And this means that we will not have a lot of time of take rest. So I anticipate that, and so you don't have to complain with me. We anticipate that during the visit, the rest time is not so much, because we have to travel and we have to see different examples of industries. I hope that you will appreciate the efforts that our colleagues in Japan are doing to assemble in the same week different experiences which are useful for understanding the culture of Japan. As I told you in the beginning of this simple speech, that should be provide to us some good ideas to implement excellence in our cultures, which are different of Japan. So we don't want to copy, we want to understand, and then decide what is good for us. I think that I already told you everything. And yes, there are no other things to say, so I do not disturb any more you all. Just remember this point: excellence, these two words, excellence and culture. Not methodologies, not benchmarking, not things to take a picture and reply and do exactly in the same in our countries, in our plants. That's it. Okay, I thank you everyone, and then I stop my speech. Okay. We don't listen.
Sorry. Okay, now you're listening. Okay, I was saying that I thank you for your intervention, and I think you explained why we should pay attention and should be involved in the Japan study tour. As a consultant, we know very well 5 whys. You at least explained us 2 of these five whys. Let me say. Now I'm giving the floor to Rosario Manisera for an in-depth look to the Japanese culture. Rosario, please.
Good afternoon. Well, we're speaking about Japan. I've been working exclusively on Japanese topics for 50 years. I studied in Japan, lived in Japan, worked in Japan, got married in Japan. My entire personal and professional life has been closely intertwined with Japan. Japan has never been so much at the center of global attention, especially among young people. Every year, millions of people from every country on earth travel to Japan. Many go for tourism, and Japan is suffering from over-tourism. Many are attracted by Japan's so-called soft power and by some aspects of traditional Japanese culture. Well, we want to go there, to Japan, to experience firsthand, through direct contact with the reality of working in Japan, how it could be beneficial to our companies and to our personal and professional growth. During this online meeting, well, we will also discuss the goals, the targets, and so on we set in organizing the study tour to Japan. The Europe-Japan Center, which from Brussels has been organizing similar tours for Europeans for 30 years now, specifies that the Japan study tours, serve to discover the principles that underpin Japan's long-standing industrial excellence, serve also to learn how Japanese companies achieve superior production efficiency, quality standards, and continuous improvement. They are useful also to gain first-hand insight into current industry practices and trends, also to experience the real gemba, where manufacturing processes, quality control, and operational excellence can be observed in practice. Even more so, during our trip to Japan, we intend to observe with our own eyes not only companies and their production processes, but the Japanese society as a whole, how the Japanese behave and what underlies their behavior, their way of thinking, and their actions. All of this is far more important than reading books or watching videos about Japan. Well, based on my experience of many study tours to Japan, I think we will be able to discover that one of the secrets of Japanese excellence is placing the human person at the center of everything, respecting the individual before tools, machines, and organization systems. Indeed, not only in society, but also in companies. Only people, in fact, with their intelligence, training, observation, and experience can initiate a process of improvement. Do you remember Kaizen? And optimize work activities. Only by investing in the training and growth of people, leveraging their flexibility and creativity, we can create long-term value that no technology can replace. This is the first point. Then we mention also Kaizen, continuous improvement. It's not only just applied within companies. In Japan, it is also applied in study, personal growth, and even home management. It's based, Kaizen is based on the constant idea that nothing is ever perfect and that everything can be continually improved. It's often said that Japanese people are born this way. Since they are children, well, they make Kaizen. That's not true. When I first arrived in Japan, about 50 years ago, the trains arrived at their destinations extremely dirty, The Japanese were accustomed, were used to eating and throwing paper and trash under the seats. Look at the Japanese trains today instead. What a difference. It takes time, but change can be achieved from the better. Kaizen is composed of Kai, which means change, and Zen, which means good, better. So everything can change, can be achieved for the better.
Rosario, we
Japanese
reached
products.
the maximum time. Please move to the conclusion, please.
Okay. Japanese
Thank
products
you.
once were shoddy and cheap. Today, they are a symbol of perfection. One more thing that will amaze us when we come into contact with real Japan is the sense of responsibility that everyone takes on in carrying out even the most menial of tasks. As soon as we arrive at the airport in Tokyo, we will notice how even the worker who places suitcase on the conveyor belt delicately and with the handles facing the newly arrived travelers. Well, this worker does so with seriousness, respecting the rules and inspiring a sense of dignity in what he is doing. And we will be able to observe this attitude everywhere in Japan, in society, as well in the world of work. Of course, Japan as a country, and like all other countries, still has many aspects to improve. But even a simple study tour to Japan can become an opportunity for us to change our way of thinking and the way we work in our companies. That's all. Many thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosario. And so let's discover the study tour of this edition. Please, Roberto, show us the program and the experience design.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you to my colleagues. So as Andrea anticipated, let's try to go through what happens in a Japan study tour, and let's go through in which way we will try to turn for you these ideas of somehow forget methodologies, Lean, TPM, TPS, forget the books you have read, and try to imagine what happens when you jump into the Japan study tour and in the Japanese culture, actually. I would like to start from a sentence that has been mentioned by my colleague Virginio, that you can read in this chart. He said something like, we will give you many intellectual emotions which unfortunately are sometimes not fully connected with good restaurants and hotels. What happens in the Japan study tour? As you can see, Japan is quite big, not that big as other countries are, but the same size of Italy, for those who knows Italy. The places we are going to visit this year are some places which are far from each, some hundreds of kilometers from the first place or the northest one to the southest one. We have about 800 kilometers. So as Virginia said, it will not be a tourist trip. It will be a cultural adventure, let's say, in which we will see how people in Japan, in the companies, but not just in the companies, they live operational excellence, which is just the way to think, to respect, to solve problems, and at the end to leave the workplace maybe better than they found it at the beginning of the day. In the first day, you normally, when you are our guest in Japan, or when you first visit some company in Japan, this happened to me a few years ago when I went first. You start observing machines, processes, technology, automation. You take pictures and you ask technical questions, but day by day, you start seeing, you normally stop asking what machine is that, but you normally start to ask why all these people behave this way, as Virginia and as Rosario mentioned. So the real journey is a physical journey from the place you live, from here in Europe or any other place in the world to Japan. But actually, our journey is from observation to understanding. So what we will visit will be some companies, and that you can see in this agenda, and some workshop during the week. The week will be from November 23rd to November 27th. We will visit 6 plants. We will attend some workshops. We have to say one thing, which is very important. We choose this year to visit Japan for the Karakuri Fair in Yokohama. Karakuri Fair is an important moment in which people from the factory, normally operators, so blue collars, they show their best solution to implement Karakuri, so low-cost automation for the audience. And it is a very interesting, let's say, point of view on the operations that somehow here in Europe and in Western countries we have almost lost. During the week, the first day, Monday the 23rd, is a holiday in Japan. They call it the Kinro Kansha no Hi. I hope Rosario will forgive me for my pronunciation in Japan, but that's the meaning of Labor Thanksgiving Day. In this day, people in Japan, they express their somehow gratitude for the work they have. And in that day, at the beginning, which is the first day for us, Monday 23rd, we will visit Matsushima, which is a lovely place in Japan to start getting the culture of Japan, and then we will visit a plant of Toyota mentioned by Virginia. Then we will go through the different visits, as you can read, Kubota. We will have a workshop with some professor, maybe Professor Yushiro Fukuda, who is a TPM award assessor from the JIPM, which is a governmental organization in Japan which certificates excellence in manufacturing, with which we at ŌdeXa have a long collaboration since years. Then we will jump through many companies that are productive, but also engineering. I would like you all to focus on Binus, which we will visit on Thursday afternoon, and which is a robotics and engineering company. We will see how Japanese manage not just operations, but also engineering. What people remember about Japan? This is what our guests later will tell you, but what I can say you about this experience, this agenda, is that they normally call back us after the JST, telling something that like they realized they have to completely change the way to conduct the morning meetings. They realized that the standards in Europe are documents, not behaviors as in Japan are. The way we would like you to influence your organization after the JST is becoming better and better in asking yourself and your organization more questions. That's why we have included culture in our JST, and that's why at the end we have planned this trip. So I kindly ask our director of the movie here to jump in the final slide, which is maybe something which is let's say the less exciting topic of this webinar, which is the cost of our initiative. As you can see, the cost per person is 6,500 euro per person. From the moment in which you check in the first hotel on Sunday afternoon to the moment on which you will check out the last hotel on Saturday, the 28th in the morning. This is, let's say, the whole scenario in which we would like you to invite you, to the JST with this QR code, which you will find at the end of this webinar. You can have more and more information about the JST. So before to close, let me let's say give you one final thought. The factories can be visited, the processes can be documented, the technologies can be purchased, but the culture, it can be only experienced. That's why every year we continue returning to Japan. And that's why we would like you to consider the idea to come with us this year to the Karakuri Japan study tour. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. I think that's a keyword. The culture is the final keyword, as you said. Okay. Now listen to two managers who experienced the study in the previous years, and they are here to share their personal experience. So let me introduce now Andrea Greggio, who is the Engineering and Maintenance and IT Director at Sentinel Diagnostic, and Alessandro Gobetti, Head of Transfer of Technologies and Cooperation Project at ELT Group. Thank you both for joining us today and for sharing your experience. And I will start with Andrea Greggio. Andrea, please tell us your experience, what expectation you had, the biggest surprise you encountered, differences between our culture and Japanese culture. So please continue.
Thank you, Andrea, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, I had the chance to join in the 2023 visit in Japan, starting from already a position in a company where adopting lean methodologies since years. So we were not at the beginning of the journey, but anyhow, I mean, I was surprised a lot in all the factories, in all the visits that we had, taking something that is, it was like Roberto was saying, it is not only a matter of technology methodology, but also culture and context. And 3 years ago, the context in Japan were already they were already experiencing something that gives a boost, in my opinion, and that I bring back in my company, in my personal growth also, about the importance to put in more boost in the application in what every company can do to reduce the waste, to apply solutions, and also that are from the basics designed by Toyota years ago, but also with new technologies from Industry 4.0 and moreover. And I feel the connection between the past, everything that was done, everything was developed, and the future, linked together by the demographical winter that Japan were already experiencing years ago. So the combination of this element lead the companies that we visited to boost, improve even better what is their application and what is their solution to each kind of different situation, issues, or opportunity. One of the phrases that I noted down during the journey was in a successful company, a pharmaceutical one that we visited, and they wrote in one of the slides a sentence like, "If we continue to do what we were doing today, we will not have a future." And they, from this statement, they build an entire strategy with bricks from lean application, but also technology application that should result in a people-friendly smart factory. That is a synthesis of what I saw in all the plants that I visited. Something that is human-centric, but designed with the methodology and the concept from lean and Japanese culture.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea.
You're
I
welcome.
move to Alessandro.
Hello,
Okay,
everyone.
I can see you. Good morning.
Yes.
So tell us also your experience, please, in Japan.
But mainly, I joined this Japanese study tour in order to exploit my curiosity about the country and the culture. I have some family experiences since I have some relatives that comes from Japan, and I talk a lot with them in order to understand the culture, the behavior of people. But and then this the main motivation to move there to follow the Japan Study Tour and then to uh, to see what happened there in terms of people management, but also technology advancement or the approach of the company has to their environment. Environment intent as forest, cities, but also the social environment they are involved on. One date, as Andrea said, the phrase stated in a slide we saw several times ago, that if we do nothing, we will be no more there. But several companies also state their goal that is to become hundreds year companies. It means that they have to adapt themselves to the changing. They experience the decreasing of their population, and they address that properly. And they manage their working activity not only to reduce waste and create more efficiency, but also to face this huge problem that they have with population. And they face that in a very structured way, I would say professional way, in order to organize their company to face this problem seriously, and but not pushing pressure on the workers or on the managers, on whoever work in the companies, but in order to they made activities to allow them to work in an efficient way, but also in a sustainable way. One company mainly that I have in mind is Omron, where we've been, where they employ at least 70% of their employees are disabled, and they use all the TPM methodology not to create only an efficient environment, but also to help them to work and to be part of the workforce actively. And this was amazing for me. Obviously, we saw also very extreme technological companies, Tetra Pak, and then also Mitsubishi Electronics. But the other company that impressed me was the ones that makes tooling that still use the same machinery for pressing that they asked from the beginning. 60 years old machinery that works like one purchased last year, because they apply all the maintenance procedures strongly, and they train their operator to be more effective on that, but not because they doesn't want or doesn't have the power to make investments, because they believe that the machinery create their own value. This was some of the aspects that surprised me, and then remain in my mindset very strong, deeply signed in my experience.
So thank you both. I think that the keywords are definitely culture, mindset, and so on. Okay. I think that your experience perfectly complement what we have heard from previous speaker. And now, if there is some question, please, I ask to director to show me, and also to show all our guests in the camera. Okay, I'm seeing Roberto. Please, I encourage you to type your question in the chat. Okay. In the meanwhile, I had some questions. I have a returning voice, and for Andrea Greggio, I cannot see. No, I see in the center. Okay, in the middle. Sorry. And I think it's a good one. If you had to describe the Japan study tour in just one or few words, which would you choose?
I will use 2 words at least, and I would choose inspiration and urgency.
Okay, urgency.
Yeah.
What can I?
So this is what it refers to the needs.
To the needs to
Roberto?
go back in your company, and I mean it's not only a matter anymore only of cost, of being lean for a matter of economics, but also for a matter of sustainability. In my opinion, this is something that I bring back from Japan.
Yes, I agree. Okay, Alessandro, which behavior or attitude of people in Japanese companies impressed you the most?
The one that's strongly connected to the behavior of the use of Japanese people in their families, they translate it in the companies. The respect, the way to communicate properly, and then but mainly the respect, the hierarchy respect, the way to express also concern, but to do it in a proper way. That this is the things I feel most in the experience about the behavior of the Japanese people there.
Okay. No. Oh, there are questions. Let me read it. There is a question about Karakuri. Maybe Virginio, you can explain. I'm going to read the question. Are Karakuri devices usually designed and manufactured by workers, team leader, or lean specialists? And in case they are made by workers, when and where did they work at the Karakuri project? I think this refers to the time the worker dedicated to build some device that is not part of the normal work.
Well, as far as I know, because we are talking of several hundreds of companies, in the fair there will be 200. Even if you want, you are not able to do a close look of everyone. But talking to the managers or the workers that are there, you realize that the Karakuri are 90% created by workers on the shop floor, because these improvement and implementation must work. So they are not created for just comply the request of a manager. They are created to support the normal work of the people. Just let me say, changing the batteries of a lifter. To change this battery means that you have to move 40, 45 kilograms or more. So with the Karakuri, in that case, you can just do this movement, this change without any effort. And if you want, if you ask, we can show you some examples of videos that are done according to JPM, which provides the documents, because you cannot do this by yourself. And you will see that the things are manufactured by the workers. Of course, in some cases, I remember one in Toyota for the change of a position of an engine on a line. So we are talking of 400 kilograms per piece. These changes have been done also with the support of engineering. But most of what you see in the fair are done by themselves.
Okay, this question remember me when I was in Japan also, and I asked, when are you going to clean the machine? Since during the 8 hours you are going to, you should do your work, your normal work. And they told me that in one case we do the cleaning after our normal work, and in another case they told me that cleaning is part of our work. So this was useful to me to answer the problem of the time management. So thank you for this question. And we have time for other questions. Okay. In the meanwhile, Virginio, I prepared a final question for you. You've been in Japan, I think, 40 times, so many times. And looking back after several years, what is the most valuable lesson that has stayed with you?
It is a compromise between innovation and continuity. So I understood that innovation is also, although when I'm talking of innovation, I'm not thinking only to the industry. I'm thinking to transportation, because we move with trains, or services in the hotel, which are not related directly to the industry. So you see movement, you see changes, you see innovation also in these cases. But these innovations are not disrupting These innovations are something that is keeping continuity with the past. So this ability to combine two different, sometimes opposite tendencies always impress me. Always. That is so continuity and innovation working together. That is my impression.
Okay, thank you. And, Rosario, and in your opinion, what is the most valuable lesson you learned in Japan? You are half Japanese, or likely.
As I said before, I have lived in Japan and I have worked also in Japan. But when I am in Japan with other European people, they are coming with me, they see many contradictions inside the companies, inside the society. Well, what I am saying it is that while in European or Western companies, we have to choose, well, as Virginia was saying before, between the continuity or innovation, sometimes or. In Japan, they say and, and, both. Sometimes it looks like contradiction, but they are able to make things which for us are contradictory, but make things live together.
Okay,
Innovation
it's
and
true.
unity, Kaizen, and they say Kakushin in Japan, something very new, little, small, and big, and so on.
Okay, thank you, Rosario. In the meanwhile, we had another question. I'm going to read. Maybe it's related to the Karakuri or anyway to the machinery. Do they have to perform the risk evaluation on the new machinery and ideas? Are they supported by their companies? This?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. For sure. Because the risk, consider that the number of accidents that are happening in Japanese industries are one tenth compared with the best European, because also in Europe we have differences. And the same is also the railway accidents, one tenth. So then, of course, sometimes is one divided 9, other times is 1 divided 12, and so on. But they are one step ahead of this. And so the risks are also carefully measured. I can talk for half an hour on these subjects, but I don't have the time, and it is out of the discussion. But if you want, let me understand, and then I will tell you some more details.
But by the way, if I can, sorry, Virginio, since the guy who made the question, Damien, is a colleague or a friend, I would say. I would just go through this topic and join maybe the ideas given by Andrea Greggio and Alessandro Gobetti. The risk in the product and the risk in the processes to make wider the view is something which is the risk analysis is embedded in the processes. So the ideas we have seen or we got from, for example, from Alessandro Gobetti or from Andrea Greggio of people-friendly respect communication, or the idea of Karakuri itself is an idea who give power and visibility to the workers and make them be active part in every part of the processes, which is something we have to learn. So normally, what we can say on our experience, my personal experience in Japan is very, very small, but what I can notice is that what we consider normally in Western countries as something extra, so risk management, quality, they consider it embedded in the activity. That is the point.
I have just very short explanation. One visit some years ago was in a plant where they are using to walk without any safety shoes. And so we, of course, between us, there were some people that were saying, hey, there are some people that are not wearing safety shoes. So we asked this, and they said that we don't wear safety shoes because we removed completely the risk of having an accident. Okay, so we shut up. I remember very well this.
So it's a matter of culture, also in this case.
Exactly.
I want to add just one thing. Sometimes we visit companies and at the door there is written, since 3,000 days we don't have any serious accident. Well, 3,000 days are quite a lot of years, but that's the reality.
Okay. I'm impressed that we respect the timetable. So we're approaching to the end of today's webinar. And on behalf of, of ŌdeXa, I would like to sincerely thank our speakers and our testimonial guests for sharing their knowledge and experience. If today's webinar has sparked your curiosity, we will be delighted to welcome you to Japan from 23 to 27 November of this year, 2026, for the Karakuri Japan study tour. We also invite you to complete a short feedback questionnaire that we'll receive afterwards in the next hours. And we thank you for your comments that will help us to improve future events and better understand your interests. So thank you once again, and have a wonderful day, and goodbye, everyone.